Mark 8:33 shows how you can tie a dialogue together by using the same word, and it also has a somewhat unusual idiomatic construction with the article. Hade epistrophes, kai idon tous mathetas autou, epitimesin Petro, kai lege, hupaga opisomou satana, hati ou phrones, ta tu theou, Allah, ta ton anthropon. There's your hade, but he, and then epistrepho, your participle, turning and seeing his disciples. Then here's another use of epitimao. It's a third use of this word in this passage. And in the first one, Jesus strongly warned his disciples not to tell people about him. And then he gave a death prediction. Peter rebuked him. And now, using the same vocabulary, Jesus turns and rebukes Peter and says, your present imperative from hupago, get behind me, Satan. And there's your vocative, right? Because you are not thinking. And then here's your phrases. The things of God. So it's neuter plural. So it's substantivizing this phrase. So it's the of God. It's plural. So right for now, we'll just say the things of God, but the things of men. Now, a couple of things here. I heard one person talk about, he was wondering if Jesus was calling Peter Satan, or he understood that Satan was standing right next to Peter, and he's actually talking to Satan. Get behind me, Satan. But most people take it that Jesus is using very strong language to refer to Peter. Phroneo means to set your mind on something, to reflect on it, to be intent on something. It is not just a casual thought, but it's like, this is what you're dwelling on. And then you have this noun phrase with the article, neuter plural, the things of God, but the things of men. And it's very interesting to watch the translations handle this, because most don't want to say the things of God, and many don't want to say man here. In my translation, I went with thinking the thoughts of God. NASB is setting your mind on God's purposes. The ESV is the things of God, and that actually was my vote on this particular one. And the reason I said things was because over here with ta, it's very generic. I don't think you want to get too focused on whether it is purposes or, divine things. I liked it being a little more generic. But anyway, set your mind. And you notice it's setting your mind on the things of God. For you are not, the old RSV says, for you are not on the side of God. It got updated. You are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things. I really like watching how revisions happen. You have the RSV, then the ESV was the update of the RSV that Crossway did. And then our NRSV is the same people that did the RSV. So it's really fun to watch the process of going, you are not on the side of God, to you're not setting your mind on the things of God, to you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things. CSB, you're not thinking about God's concerns. The NIV, you do not have in mind the concerns of God. Net Bible, you're not setting your mind on God's interests. New Living, you are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's. That sounds really light considering this is a rebuke. But anyway, it's a somewhat awkward passage. It's not bad Greek or anything. It's just you have to be a little interpretive in doing your translation. So again, you have the third use of epitimao, tying the passage together. You have this vocative. For Satan, you are setting your mind, not just thinking about it, and then something of God and something of human beings. So to do the phrasing, but turning and seeing his disciples can probably stay on the same line. He rebuked Peter and he said, "Get behind me, Satan." Why? Because you are not thinking the things of God, but you are thinking the things of men, of human things. So I'm also going to make this its own line up here, because he not only turned, he wanted to make sure the other disciples were seeing what was going on, right? So this is pretty strong. So we'll move these things over, probably there. There. He rebuked Peter. What did he say in his rebuke? Get behind me, Satan. Why did he say that? Because you're not thinking, and I'm going to use a tab here because it really works out kind of nice. You are not thinking the things of God, but you are thinking the things of man. Again, you want to be really sure not to make it look like lines are parallel with each other when they're not. So I think maybe I'll go back here and bring these over to avoid any possible confusion. There you go.